The construction of railroads in both India and Mexico spurred domestic and economic change. The circumstances of both countries were quite different, however. For example, Mexico had already gained independence from Spain by the time construction of railways began. In India, the British were still very much in control of the nation. Both countries built the railways for economic reasons, but India soon realized that connecting the country by convenient travel could be the key in gaining their independence from the British Empire. The process of building railways and the effects that they had drastically changed Mexico and India as countries by inspiring economic growth. An article titled Economic Backwardness in a Firm Strategy, an American Railroad Corporation in 19th Century Mexico, the author states that in Mexico there were no navigable rivers, and the highway system constructed during the colonial period had suffered from many years of destruction, deterioration, and abandonment. This statement clearly shows the need for a railroad system in Mexico. The construction of railroads in Mexico is portrayed as very advanced. This image, created by Schlapman Hermanos in 1897, is part of a series titled Inaugural Celebration of the Mexico, Cuernavaca and Pacific Railway. This collection is quite important to Mexico's history in the late 19th century, especially when it is tied to the idea of colonization. Throughout Spain's dominion over Mexico, transportation and travel was always an issue. In this picture, workers and other Mexicans are portrayed as accomplished. By the way the men are standing and dressed, it is easy to tell that they are proud of these beautiful trains, not only because of the practicality of trains at the time, but also the idea of connecting Mexico. As the nation tries to break all ties from its former name, New Spain, connecting all of Mexico is crucial, and this photograph shows how the new railroad system will provide this connectivity. The presidential train in this photo is large and is decorated to fit its grand name. Also, these trains seem to be much more advanced than those in India, another nation that is trying to shake off the heavy colonization that it had been through. Laying track for a railroad is obviously necessary, but after looking at this photo collection, it takes countless hours of hard labor. In this particular photograph, created by Townsend Photo in 1890, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people constructing the framework for a railroad. This photo depicts the rolling hills of India and provides a good sense of the difficulty involved in the construction of a railroad. The amount of labor required to build this transportation mechanism is immense. However, connecting India and the impacts that a railroad could have clearly motivated the people enough to complete the great task. This photo represents the workers' ability to work as a group, carrying large chunks of track and connecting the track to a tough landscape. The construction of a railroad in India and linking this nation represents a larger theme. Unifying India is constantly seen as an issue, and this railroad represents a critical link in achieving this great task. Tunneling and making bridges in the 19th century must have been a tremendous task. Without machines and bulldozers like we have today, there must have been countless workers shoveling, building, and plowing their way through hilly landscapes or over bodies of water. In an article written by Fred Powell in 1921, he is quoted saying, "High freight rates, excessive cost of construction, and the general apathy of the people have kept Mexican lines from becoming great arteries of trade." This is a very interesting piece of information because it actually says that the railroad's high cost of construction is what kept the railroad system from being highly lucrative. However, the railroad system united the nation and allowed easy travel for the first time. Even if the industry didn't turn a profit right away, it still unified the nation. The strong British Empire was willing to do whatever it takes to connect India. This land needed to be connected because of the trade possibilities. In an article titled Environmental History in British Colonialism in India, a Prime Political Agenda, the author states, by 1860, Britain had emerged as the world leader in deforestation. She later goes on to say, the setting up of the railway network, along with shipping, around 1853, greatly increased the pressure put on forest resources. The photos showing the construction of railroads in India all clearly depict the brutal working conditions. However, This article reveals that British Empire was not only harsh on the Indian people, but also to the Indian lands and forests. In conclusion, it is very clear that the construction of railroads both in Mexico and in India was very difficult. Throughout the entire period of construction, these pictures display just how hard it must have been. Whether the workers are tunneling under a mountain or constructing a bridge for a train, it seems that there are always a large amount of people working the project. This job was undoubtedly physically taxing, but its result is clear: a connected nation. The idea of a unified nation is a step towards freedom, and although Mexico is technically free from Spain, connecting the nation for trade vastly improved its power as a free nation. For India, the connectedness is a step in the right direction towards freedom from the British Empire.